Welcome to the Prospect Warehouse Podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Ace Ball. And this episode is going to be a solo podcast. Tried to lock down my boys, John and Doc, during the holidays here because I'm recording on Black Friday, but both guys are traveling and unavailable. We will have 3 podcasts this week as I planned. Tomorrow, I'll be recording with a ringer, bringing in my boy, Jake Holland. So if you want to give Jake, go ahead and you can give Jake a follow on X before you even listen to the other podcast. Follow Jake, his X. One second. I did not have that handy. I'm just leaning right into it. His X for my boy. At Jake Baseball 17. So make sure you follow Jake. He's got a podcast of his own called The Cutoff Man Pod. So give Jake a follow and then check it out tomorrow. We're going to be talking Astros, which is his home team. So figure that'd be a good one to bring him in for. And if you didn't notice, there's a prospect trade involving my favorite team, the St. Louis Cardinals. So the St. Louis Cardinals recently, within the last few days here, traded Sonny Gray for Brandon Clark and Richard Fitts. And you notice I put Brandon Clark ahead of Richard Fitts because he has the higher fantasy dynasty upside. So just talk about this trade real quick here. Sonny Gray is my number 39 starting pitcher for 2026 in my redraft rankings. And he ranks at 53, number 53 in my 3-year dynasty rankings. Let me give you an idea of where Fitts is. Fitts on the 3-year dynasty rankings ranks at 157. And on my redraft rankings is at 113. I think he's going to be kind of like the number 4 starter for the Cardinals. I expect him to be the number 4, McGreevy to be the number 5. We'll see. Liberatore will probably be the number 2. I kind of think that they're going to bring somebody else in. We'll see. Hopefully Palante is not a starter for the Cardinals. Hopefully it's like Quinn Matthews or Lehigh or Liam Doyle or like really anyone except Palante, because I think Palante is one of the worst starters in baseball. So hopefully they bring somebody else in besides Palante. But Fitts is fairly average. He's basically like a 99 or 100 in every single F score. So makes him a completely solid number 4 with like no downside, no upside, just decent number 4 who's not going to be terrible and not going to be great, whatever. But Brandon Clark, this is the guy that I do want to discuss. So I'm going to bring him up here. I'm going to show his F scores. Let's see. I've got him up on my laptop, but not on this one. So let's bring up the page here. You can see we got Sprout up there. Let's bring up Brandon Clark's F score. So Brandon Clark, terrible command. I actually rated him as a reliever pre-trade. I think that he could be like a closer, like a really nasty Aroldis Chapman type closer. Lefty, 120 stuff, 88 control, 114 FERA, 65 durability. So that's like the worst case scenario. Obviously, the Cardinals traded for him to try to make him a starter first. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. We got this one is what we want here. Boom. There it is. So there's the F scores. You can see I brought them up here. Brandon Clark, a lot of swing and miss early, kind of struggled down the stretch at the end of the season. Not a lot of innings. So there is reliever risk here, but hits 100 from the left side and has a really nasty sweeper. So at the minimum, I think he could be a pretty nasty high leverage reliever, but hopefully the Cardinals get more than that for Brandon Clark. And I think the Cardinals are going to have some more moves here in the near future. Kind of reports are that they want to do some more moves before the winter meetings. So it'd be interesting to see if they make some trades prior to. There's also some helium that they might be signing, like a Tyler Mahle, which if he's the head of the rotation, that's pretty terrible. So I hope he's the number 3 instead of Palante, and then you got an actual ace you bring in. Cease is off the table. I doubt MI goes to St. Louis when they're rebuilding. But maybe they trade for someone still. Maybe they can trade Brandon Donovan for a number 1 type starter. So that's kind of the goal if you're a Cardinals fan like me. But we're not talking about the Cardinals this podcast. We were talking about the New York Mets. So let me bring them back up here. Add it to the stage. Since it's solo, this should be a shorter pod. Number 20, you can see here, is Marco Vargas. So let's discuss some Marco Vargas, shall we? As we bounce back over to the F score page. And again, a little patience with me if you're watching, because I am solo and it's not the easiest to do all this stuff together. But you can see we now have our amazing handy dandy adjusted WRC plus available here. So this is going to adjust from a 100 from whatever the actual WRC plus is, which we don't have on the board. So the normal WRC plus is 109, but age adjusted based on the level, because he played at high A as a 20-year-old. Marco Vargas had a 139 WRC plus, so that's pretty sexy. I'm going to show an example here. I'm going to bring up Sebastian Walcott, because this is the guy that I've talked about. And once you get adjusted, he's going to perform way better. Look at this, a 187 adjusted WRC plus for age adjustment. That's awesome. I love this. John finally did it. He gave me my Christmas present way before Christmas for Black Friday. So check that out. A new thing. This is another reason why you should subscribe to the MLB Data Warehouse, because this is the only place you're going to find our age-adjusted WRC Plus that John and I made here. So love it. But back to Marco Vargas, shall we? Our number 20 player here in the system. Marco Vargas, boom, here we go. So Marco Vargas, if it'll load. Marco Vargas on the season, 258, 351, 323 slash, 675 OPS. You're like, okay, what's so great about this guy? 81% contact rate and a 92.4% zone contact rate are pretty great. He has a 102 hit, 110 discipline, 120 speed, 81 power. So no power here, but good hit, good discipline, good speed. And he actually does have some power if you look at the EVs. His 103.5 90th EV at A-ball is actually pretty solid for a 20-year-old. 106.5 max is not, but the average and the 90th are pretty good. So that shows that he's actually getting into decent power. Air pull is horrendous at 5'4". That's like one of the worst air pulls you'll ever see, which is why his power is so far down to 81. 8.1% barrel rate is good, though. So there's some interesting stuff here. Like if he could figure out the angles, he'd be much better, because he does hit the ball with some authority. 83% stolen base rate, 40 steals in 2025. Marco Vargas is a pretty interesting player for a number 20 in the org. So I think Marco Vargas is one to watch here for the future as he comes up levels. Let's go now to number 19. It's going to be a starting pitcher, Felipe De La Cruz. So let's bring good old Felipe up here on the board. Boom. If you're listening, sorry for my adjustments as I'm like multitasking mid-pod, but Felipe De La Cruz, a 113 stuff, 106 control, 105 ERA, 109 durability with a 108 grade. So you can look at this and be like, Tim, this is your number 20 and number 19 in the Mets org? Like what? Yeah, Mets org is pretty good, people. Like this org for the prospects is actually surprisingly pretty good. One thing I don't like for Felipe De La Cruz is that you can see here, he is 24. So he is a bit older for the age here. And what levels did he pitch at this year for Felipe? He pitched at, and you see how prepared I am as my internet keeps going in and out. He pitched at AA, and he was a starter and a reliever, so he's played both. And he pitched at AAA actually a little bit too. So a little AA, a little AAA here for Felipe. Made 6 starts on the season. So this is one of the things you have to consider is when you're making only 6 starts and the rest of your appearances are as a reliever, you're probably going to be a reliever. You can see here the size, 6 foot, 160, not great. But he does throw a 95 mile an hour sinker with good movement, 7 vertical, 8.7 horizontal. And that seems to be his primary fastball. He's throwing that 53% of the time, and the slider 40% of the time. So a 2-pitch guy here. Felipe De La Cruz, double in AAA. You see here, he was starting like 58 pitches his last time out with 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. He could probably be an effective reliever for next year for the Mets. If they don't re-sign Edwin Diaz, this might be someone to look out for as a potential high leverage arm. He is a lefty, so he's a high leverage, like 7th or 8th inning lefty for them at first. But Felipe De La Cruz, interesting reliever here to watch out for in this org. Let's go now back to the chart. We have another reliever here, Ryan Lambert. So let's go back and pull up Ryan Lambert here. So Ryan Lambert, another reliever in the organization. And Lambert, a 133 F stuff. You love that, man. Like, as a reliever. 99 control is fine for a reliever. 114 FERA, 104 durability. You see a 213 JA ERA on the season, 26.4 K minus walk rate for Ryan Lambert. Now, he only pitched in AA, so maybe he starts the season in AAA, but he was phenomenal last year. Even with a 13% walk rate, he had almost a 40% K rate. So Ryan Lambert, only one home run allowed too. Very interesting reliever to watch out for here in this organization. And Felipe De La Cruz. You see Lambert's a little bigger, 6'3", 222. So a couple relievers here at the back end that could be effective for the Mets. And in deep leagues, that matters. You need relievers. So watch out for Ryan Lambert and Felipe De La Cruz. Number 17, Eli Serrano III. This is a guy that I saw live last year, not this year. And I kind of liked him last year when I saw him. He's known as a really good defender. He's kind of like iffy with the bat, like comes and goes. Not, very consistent, but his F scores come out grading as consistent because he is like just kind of across the board solid. So you can see on the F scores a 100 power, 100 hit, 109 discipline, 100 speed, like very average. Again, great defense. So that could be what moves him to the majors. He has been playing old for the level. You see 22 years old at high A. His age-adjusted WRC plus is 116, which is pretty much spot on. But he's 6'5", 201, so big dude who grades out as pretty average across the board with great defense. So that's Eli Serrano, the third outfielder for the Mets. Let's go now to next, number 16, Will Watson. So we got a couple starters here coming next. Will Watson and Zach Thornton. Let's bring up Watson first. So Will Watson, boom, here we go. Will Watson, 23 at this point in time, because John hasn't updated the age in like a month. So you have to kind of add on a 0.1 or 0.2 now at this point in time for the age on the chart. But a 107 stuff, 105 control, 107 FERA, 93 durability, 105 grade. That's not bad for Mr. Watson here. And you can see a 3.21 JA ERA. And we have his pitch mix also in front of us. This is a really good fastball, 9.9 vert on that fastball. So Watson pitched this last year in A, high A, and double A. Went through 3 levels, almost like a worse version of what Jonah Tong was doing with them last year. He was a 7th rounder in 2024 out of USC. But kind of popped this year. You can see 6'1", 180. But this fastball is great. Throws it 95 plus, 95 probably to 98. Looks like 95 and a half average velo. And he's throwing it 42% of the time, so he knows it's a good one. 12.1 swing strike rate, but almost 10 inches of vertical movement plus another 7 inches of horizontal movement. That's a ton of movement for this fastball. That's a really good fastball for Will Watson. Not necessarily elite, but it could get up to a 60 grade fastball right there. That's definitely plus. And then we see here, he also throws a slider 21% of the time. Slider doesn't really have much movement on it, but he's getting 18.4 swing strike rate. So it must have a lot of late break to it. About an 86 velocity on that slider. Average velo is really good. 90 mile an hour cutters, meh. Changeup is getting swings and misses. This is a good changeup. Look at this. 11 inches of horizontal movement on that changeup at 88. That's good with a 19.2 swing strike rate. That's a really good changeup. So we got a nice fastball changeup slider combo here for Will Watson. And he did make some appearances in relief. Maybe toward the end of the season, it looks like they were trying to slow down the innings for him because he did pitch 121 innings, which is really good for his first full year in pro ball. So I think Will Watson, Mets have been good at developing pitchers lately, so this could be a name to watch moving forward for Will Watson. And sorry, I didn't have him up on the thing here. So there's Will Watson. Hard to multitask with only one person. Let's get to Zach Thornton next. So Thornton. Boom. 3 Thorntons. We got Zach Thornton, a bunch of pitches. Look at all the pitches that this guy throws. Tons of pitches. Again, a 3.21 ERA. So he's like almost lockstep with Will. So Zach Thornton was a 5th rounder in 2023. Grand Canyon University, so small ball here, but 24.5 K minus walk and only a 4% walk rate. on the season. And you can see through 2024 and 2025, the last 2 seasons, 5.1. So this guy barely walks anyone. 125 control, 100 stuff. So he's got okay stuff, amazing control, 108 FERA. Durability is a 74 because he only pitched in 72 innings this year, and last year only 68. So he has really no buildup. Like, I don't know what happened to him injury wise, but he just hasn't pitched a lot. But the command is amazing. He had only a 0.81 whip on the season. That's phenomenal. Fastball, 10.5 vertical movement, really good. He only throws at 90 miles an hour though, so like bad velo, great movement on the fastball. 13.6 swing strike rate is good. All his other pitches, like nothing's 10% even. So like the rest of his stuff kind of sucks. And that just means he's really, really good at locating all his stuff. So very low velocity, not great swing and miss stuff on Thornton, but insane command. And if he could add a couple ticks, this could be a dude. So I kind of like these guys hand in hand. Like I don't really like one much better than the other. I could see going either way if you wanted to add a guy like Watson instead of Thornton. So just keep that in mind. Number 14 is their first round pick, Mitch Voigt. Voigt, I don't think debuted. Let me bring that up real quick. I'm pretty sure he did not debut in the majors this year. No, he did play in 22 games actually. So wrong on that. We might actually have an F score on him. So let's bring him up here. Mitch Voigt with the Mets. So Mitch Voigt was their first rounder this last year, 28th overall pick. And he was picked out of Michigan. And we've got a 101 hit and a 152 speed, 106 adjusted WRC plus because he was 20 at A-ball and he had an 89. But in college this year, he hit 346, 471, 668 with 14 bombs and 14 steals, walked more than he struck out. So good plate discipline here, good speed. You could see a 103 90th EV, 107 max EV. So he's got okay power, only a 3.3 barrel, not great, but decent contact. And here's 74 contact and 86 zone. So okay hit, showing really good speed. There's a little bit of power in there that we haven't really seen yet. There's more power than we've seen, and really good plate skills for Mitch Voigt is what you have to look forward to for the Mets first round pick. Let's get to the next guy. It is going to be Nick Morabito, and I'll go ahead and throw our F scores up on the stage here so you can see for Voigt, and then we'll go to Morabito. So Morabito is going to be like a super util guy. He's pretty close to the majors, so there's some proximity. I think he comes up this year. See, he's got a 140 age-adjusted WRC plus. That's really good. 104 hit, 103 discipline, 130 speed. So you kind of have like a Ben Zobrist type profile here. Like there's just not a lot of pop. 385 slug ain't great, but the dude does run 48 steals this year, 59 the year before. And again, he's multiple positions. So I guess maybe like a Willie Castro actually might be a more accurate comp to Nick Morabito, but he should be a professional player, super utility guy. I want to say he spent the whole year at AA this last year, so he should probably be in AAA to start the year and probably up in the majors if he's doing the same thing in AAA next year by the end of the season as their super util guy. So Nick Morabito, kind of a fun profile as a super util guy who's not a super like future superstar, probably not even a future starter, but should be interesting for fantasy leagues because of the speed. So I would just keep that in mind. Now let's get to number 12 is Brandon Sprout. So Sprout may start in the majors. We'll see. He really, really struggled at AAA once he got there the last couple of years. But he has decent F scores. He was much better this year. 100 stuff, 105 control, 106 FERA, 114 durability. And let's pull his thingy up on the screen for you YouTube people, everybody watching. There you can see his arsenal breakdown on MLB Data Warehouse. Fastball is meh, 10.3 swinging strike but he throws it hard. So basically it's velocity movement profile on the fastball is not great. So maybe that's why he hasn't been so good in AAA and above because the command is only okay. Slider at 88 is good, 12.5% swing strike rate. So that's average at least. Changeup is good, 15.2 swing strike rate on the changeup, 9.2 horizontal. So that's a pretty good changeup. Sweeper is good, 16% swing strike rate on the sweeper. So that's a good pitch. Basically, his fastball sinker are just not great, so he doesn't really have a good setup pitch. His slider, changeup, sweeper are pretty solid. Those are maybe average to above average pitches. Fastball is probably like a 45, though, at best. 40 or 45, like not a great fastball. So that's Sprout's issue. Like I think he profiles more as a number 4, number 5. A lot of people were really high on him before, but I think he's just kind of like a back end rotation guy. 3.45 JA ERA over the last 2 years, though, so not too bad. And let's get to like the second half of this year. He started performing better. You can see JA ERA dropped to 2.76, and he locked in a 21.1 K minus walk rate in the second half. So pretty solid second half here for Sprout. And he's throwing the ball harder. Look at that velocity over the second half is 97 for average velocity. So more velocity on the fastball was helping it play up a little better. This sweeper was sick. 23.9% swing strike rate on the sweeper in the second half. So that's really his pitch that's been carrying him to defeating AAA was that sweeper. That's a really good pitch for Brandon Sprout. Let's now get to number 11, Chris Suero, catcher. I like Suero, and funny enough, like Alvarez has been so bad, like it's very possible, like maybe Suero replaces him as the eventual franchise catcher. I'm going to bring up Suero here. I'm not really sure how good defensively Suero is. I think I saw him for like one game behind the plate like a year ago, but that doesn't really tell you too much. But he's got a 99 power, 98 hit, 102 discipline, 113 speed, 108 durability, 142 age adjusted WRC plus. See 68% contact, not great. 81% stolen base rate with 35 steals for a catcher. That's insane. This dude can run. he can probably run to the majors based on that. Sorry, I'm drinking for you people who are listening only. Yeah. So Chris Suero, interesting catcher, and I think he's kind of underrated. I mean, I don't like see him as a star, but he could be a starting catcher. Could have some decent seasons, especially if he's running like that. And he was in AA as a 21-year-old. So AAA next year. And if Alvarez is terrible next year, then Suero might be the guy. So probably 2027 guy here for Chris Suero, I would say. Most catchers are usually like a level per year and aren't advancing like half a level or one level every half year like some other hitters. So just keep that in mind for catchers. So let's get to top 10. Top 10. I really like this top 10. Number 10, Jonathan Santucci. This is a guy that I really think is super underrated. I'm big on Santucci. He really lit it up in my T10s, my top 10s of the week toward the end of the season. He had a really strong finish to the season. So Santucci, who finished in AA, I'm going to bring him up on the screen here now. He had a 110 stuff, 110 control, 107 FERA, 93 durability, 107 total grade. That's a good grade. So 7% above the average at the levels he was playing at. You can see on his, like I said, his end of the season, he was good. He actually didn't even play at the beginning of the season. Check that out. But from July 26th, I guess that's why he was good at the end. He had 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts, 1 walk. Bad start against the Sea Dogs, and then a 7 strikeout, 1 walk to finish the year. 3.08 JA ERA. He did pitch 117 innings. I don't know why we're missing some of his game log then. That means he pitched a full season. And he was drafted in 2024 out of Duke in the second round. So Santucci does have some pedigree here. Oh, that's why. I still have it on half a season. So let's bring up his full season to date here, and then we'll get all his starts. There we go. But yeah, he was much better in the second half. So he figured something out. We don't have Arsenal data since he was in AA. When he gets a trip next year, we'll get some Arsenal data on him. But fast-moving lefty here, Jonathan Santucci. I like Santucci. And all these people are like, the Mets need to add starters. I don't really know if they do. They've got Sprout. They've got Tong and McLean. They've got Santucci. I don't know if they do. Like, they have a lot of pitching depth in this org. I like this org. It's got good pitching depth, so I don't really see the need. And Wenninger too is another guy I love who we'll talk about later. Number 9, third baseman Jacob Reimer. I think it's Reimer, not Reamer. A lot of people are high on him. I almost ranked Santucci ahead of him, except that I just think hitters are a little more stable than pitchers, and third base sucks. So that's going to kind of give him a bump. But you can see his numbers were pretty average until you consider age adjustment. So 102 power, 100 hit, 106 discipline, 98 speed, 102 grade total, but a 155 age-adjusted WRC plus because he was 21 years old in AA. Finished the season with a 281, 377, 490 slash, 17 bombs. He was much better at high A than he was at AA. So his season on the whole looks really, really good. When we go to second half only, it was not as good, but that's also because he was at a higher level. He actually was pretty decent for the most of the second half. Look at that. He got better as he went over 500. Oh, look at this. Last, what is that? 77 plate appearances. He had almost a 1,000 slug. So he got better as he went at AA, which is why the age adjusted W155 makes some sense here. But 6 foot, 205. I don't see him as like a star third baseman, but I do see him as a major league regular. So keep that in mind. I think Reimer is going to be a major league regular third baseman, and this is our number 9 prospect in the org. So again, this is a really nice org. Oh, I didn't have it up. Sorry. This is what happens when I'm doing 2 things at once. So there he is. Boom. Jacob Reimer. You can see last month. There he is on the slider. Friggin' killing it. So let's get back now to number 8 is Elian Pena. We're not going to have anything on him on the good old MLB data warehouse dashboard since he was DSL. But in the DSL, he had 292, 421, 528. One of the better DSL players with 9 bombs and 21 steals, 146 WRC plus, 16% walk, 16% K rate, and a 73% contact rate. So Elian Pena, a lot of fun, a name to really look forward to. And we're going to get to the meat. This org is just so good. Number 7 is Ryan Clifford. Like, I think Ryan Clifford is like one of the better first baseman prospects in baseball. Like, he's probably top 5, if not top 3 first base prospect. And he's number 7 in this org. That's how much I like this org. So again, keep that in mind. Not every org is created equally. So let's bring up Clifford here, who just has a ridiculous amount of power. Basically, he's Pete Alonso Jr. 126 power, 98 hit, 108 discipline, 88 speed, 115 durability, and look at 157 age-adjusted WRC plus. So I'm a big Ryan Clifford guy. Let's go to his whole year stats here. 28 bombs in the season, 14% walk, 26K, 88.8 zone contact is phenomenal. That is so good for this profile for a power hitting first baseman. Dude is mashing in zone. Love the EVs. 94.2 average EV, 107.6 90th, 111 max. He won't steal bags, obviously. Shouldn't. Like a 60% clip is not a good stolen base clip, but this dude is a masher, and his contact rates are average. So an average to above average. He might have a 55 hit. Like, he's going to swing and miss. So his plate skills are probably slightly below average. He might have like a 55 hit, but this is a 60 power tool, if not 65. So probably 60, I would give him on the power tool. But he's going to mash taters in the majors. And that could happen as soon as next year, especially if they don't re-sign Alonso. So Clifford could be a lot of fun for your profile very, very soon. There's a lot of proximity here. And he's only 22 years old doing this. He was 21 for a lot of last year. So keep that in mind with this 157 age-adjusted WRC plus from a AAA hitter. I'm a big fan of Ryan Clifford. Let's get to oh gosh, I didn't have it open. Let me bring this up. Sorry, people. Here's his profile. For those of you watching, this is what happens when I have to do both. This is why I need Doc or John to help me, because when I have to do this, it's like pressing the buttons and talking at the same time. And then plus, like, I've got computers like closing and going to sleep as I'm talking. So it's a thing. It's a problem to do this by yourself. So let's now get to number 6, Jack Wenninger. I'm like the Wenninger fan here. I love his splitter. So I'm like number 1 Wenninger guy for prospectors, I want to say. So let's bring him up. And plus, his name is Jack Wenninger. That's just like a book name. That's like a CIA guy. Jack Ryan, Jack Wenninger. But he's got a 103 stuff, 111 control, 104 FERA, 118 durability, and a 107 grade. And you see his Arsenal data here, because what I'm doing right now is I'm pulling his A-ball data because he's only pitched in AA this year. So when you see his Arsenal data here, just keep in mind this is his Arsenal data from 2024. When we see him at AAA next year, these pitches should theoretically be better with maybe more velocity by that point in time. But you can see his number one pitch here is a changeup, which is not really a changeup. It's a splitter, is what he's throwing the most. A splitter, 24.8% swing strike rate. It's freaking ridiculous. This is one of the better splitters in the minors, if not the best splitter. I love that splitter. Like, I love that pitch. I think I threw a 70 on it. He's a top 150 prospect for me. And so is Clifford, by the way. Both those guys are top 150s. Reimer is like barely out, but it's not even really his fault. It's just like, there's just too many guys I like, I think. And because I think he's just going to be like a league average guy. But look at this pitch mix here. You can see the sinker is also really good in the fastball. 10 inches of vertical movement on the fastball, almost 10 on the sinker. That's without the induced vertical break. Sinker also has 8.4 of run. So you got horizontal movement on that thing too. The fastball also has some nice run. He doesn't throw those which crazy is his splitter. Look at this. His command on his splitter is better than his command on his fastball. It's like, what? Usually the splitter is like what people have trouble commanding, but that splitter is so good. With a near 25% swing strike rate, and almost 55% ground ball rate, and only a 5% barrel rate, and he throws for strikes 54% of the time. That splitter is one of the best pitches in minor league baseball. I'm going to tell you right there. It's one of the best pitches in minor league baseball, Jack Winninger's splitter. I'm going to let that sink in as I take a drink of my apple cider vinegar. Yummy, right? But it's healthy. So, and I just worked out, so you got to be healthy. Cutter also is a good pitch, 16.7 swing strike. So there's the Arsenal data. And like I said, when we see him in triple next year, it's going to be even better because that's all stuff from 2024. 294 JA ERA on the season. So I just really, really like this org. We're going to get next to number 5, AJ Ewing. And what's funny is that AJ Ewing, because his name is A.J. If you ever pull up the MLB data warehouse dash and you don't have a hitter selected, like if you just open it up the first time, AJ Ewing is always going to be the guy who shows on the main page here. So Ewing, a 93 power, 105 hit, 107 discipline, 132 speed, 106 total grade, and a 145 adjusted WRC plus. Is a shortstop. Will he stay shortstop? Probably not in this org because you're going to have Lindor there. And Ewing is good enough probably to be in the majors in 2027. So he hit AA this year, and at AA he played in 28 games. So probably he'll repeat AA and hit AAA this year, and then 2027 guy. But hit tool is good, 81% contact. So good hit, 85% stolen base rate with 70 steals on the season for AJ Ewing. So tons of speed here for AJ Ewing. Not much power, 3 home runs only, but he does hit pretty decent angles. We don't have angles data here on the board because he, wasn't there. But let me see. I know Fangraphs is going to have it. John's going to hate that I'm pulling up Fangraphs, but a 31.6% line drive rate on the season, which is what is jacking his power up here. So great angles, great line drive rate. Tons of extra base hits are probably still in this profile, 26 doubles on the season. So I think he could be in 10 triples. So he could be like a big time doubles guy, but AJ Ewing, very fun speed doubles profile, probably not a lot of power in the future, only 5'11", 160, good contact. So AJ Ewing is definitely going to be a fantasy guy with that kind of speed for the future. I do not think this is a Luis Angel Acuna Jr. I think he has a much better contact profile than Acuna Jr. So, or whatever, Acuna Jr., whatever his name is, Luis Angel. So, yeah, I'm Team Ewing over Luis Angel and over like a Ronnie Mauricio, who I used to like because he hit the ball hard but has terrible contact rates. And I used to call Ronnie Mauricio Javi Baez Jr., and I think that's kind of the case. So let's get now to number 4 in the org. And you can see number 4 is Jonah Tong. I actually have Jet and Benj ahead of Tong. So let's now pull up Jonah Tong's profile on here. And Jonah Tong did see some major league time, top 50 player for me. I think top 40, maybe even top 30 from my prospect rankings anyway. So let me actually pull up for you where I've got Tong, just because he's in play this year. I've got Tong in redraft as my number 43 starter. And I've got Tong in 3-year dynasty as my 38 starter. Just so you know where I'm at on Jonah Tong, a.k.a. Tim Lincecum wannabe, right? So Jonah Tong had a phenomenal year this year. One of the best years in in the last 2 years, look at this. Over 2 seasons, a 2.06 JAERA. He's a 125 stuff, 109 control, 125 JAE or FERA, and a 119 total grade. Like, this stuff is just ridiculous. Look at all these pitches. In the pitch level data we have from him over the last 2 seasons, a 22.3% swinging strike rate across all pitches. That's what? A 56% strike rate too. Like, amazing command. Fastball, 11.5 inches of vertical movement just without gravity. Add on gravity, that's 18, 19, 20 inches. And one of the things I don't like about Tong is that when he throws it, it's all, and like the way this guy throws, how does he have such good command? He doesn't even look at the ball when he's throwing it. It's crazy. Because his head is like looking the other way when he's throwing it. If you've ever watched him throw, I can't bring up video while I'm doing this solo. So if John was here, I'd have him do it. But the way this guy throws is just, that's why they call him Lincecum, because he's like not even looking when he's throwing it. It's ridiculous. And he still has insane command. I don't know how he's doing it, but he is. And this stuff numbers just look great. I just don't like that everything is like vertical. He doesn't really have anything that moves horizontally, because he throws fastball, change, cutter, curve, slider, and everything. His curve is 12.6. So it's like, we're just not getting a lot of, like, look at the horizontal. The only thing that moves horizontally is his changeup. Everything else is 2 inches or less, basically horizontal movement. So only thing that's moving horizontally is this changeup here. If you're watching, and we're watching on YouTube, which I recommend, you can see we have all these arsenals pulled up for all these guys. But he throws that fastball almost 60% of the time over the last 2 years. Let's see if he started throwing his other stuff second half more. Yeah, basically all fastball changeup. Look at this. 87% of the time he's throwing fastball or changeup. That's not great. And then he's throwing slider curve only 13% of the time. So for majors, that's not great. That's going to be kind of scary. It worked for him in the minors because his stuff is so good. But for majors, I'm not really a fan of that. So he's got to develop a third pitch or throw his third pitches more, trust in them more, I think, for him to be as good as he could possibly be. For him to reach like number 1, number 2 starter level, I think he can do it, which is why I have him ranked as a top 40 starter. So, that's Jonah Tong for you. I'm a fan. Let's get to number 3 here. Number 3 is Jet Williams. So let's pull up Jet Williams on the hitter profile here. And look, this is what I'm talking about here. We come back here. AJ Ewing is your number 1 pull up here. It is A.J. So Jet Williams, age adjusted 156, 111 power, 100 hit, 112 discipline, 119 speed, 109 grade on the F scores. 5'7", 175, so he's going to be limited by his size, but an almost 80% stolen base rate with 34 steals. So the dude runs. He's got some power, 103.4 90th and 108.4 max. I don't like this average EV of 85. It means that he's not consistent. 4.9 barrel means he's not consistent. This is kind of Matt McClaney to me, to be honest. I think that Jet Williams is almost like a shorter Matt McClain with better plate skills. I think that's kind of a good comp. Yeah, I like that. So just keep that in mind, that he's basically going to be a shorter Matt McClain with better plate skills. Like he'll be better than Matt McClain in points leagues because he's going to walk more, basically. But contact, because he's just not consistent in his angles. His quality of contact is not consistent. While he does make good contact rates, his quality of contact is not consistent. So, but you know what? Matt McClain is a good fantasy player because even in a bad year like this year, he still was like 15, 20 or something like that. So, Jet Williams should be a pretty solid player and was in AAA this year as a 21-year-old. So there is age adjustment stuff here that, like, can he get a lot better? Yeah, he's very young. So just keep that in mind, and he's probably in the bigs next year. Now, the Mets have already come out and said that more than likely than not, Carson Bench is going to be a starter next year. I've been trading for Carson Bench in any league that I can. So if you can get him, go get him. I like Carson Bench a lot. I compared him to Evan Carter at the beginning of the year last year, and he got better as the season went on, and his splits improved. I was really afraid of the lefty-righty splits at the beginning of the season, but look, by the end of the season, while all his power came against righties, his contact rates averaged out. The K rates and the walk rates kind of averaged out. So he got better Yeah, the average against lefties was still 232 as a lefty, but that's not a 405 OBP, lefty. You take that. Like, he's not going to be a platoon player based on that. On the season, 80.6% contact rate, 86.9 zone. And then he had 13 bombs, and he also had 22 steals. So this is a guy who can do everything. And obviously 109 power tool, 102 hit, 114 discipline, 108 speed, 108 total grade here for Carson Bench, and age adjusted at 153. So I'm a big fan of Carson Bench. I think he's going to be like a number 2 hitter for them. And pretty soon. I mean, like, obviously now they've got like Lindor and Soto, but I think there's a top of the lineup guy for them eventually. Figure out like what they do. Probably, I guess they'll probably be at the bottom of the order at the beginning, but I think he works his way up there. 11.5% barrel rate. Look at this. I brought up second half. 11.5% barrel rate, 92.2 average EV, 106.4 90th, 110.4 max EV. So he hits the ball hard. He's getting good angles, 25% line drive and 11.5 barrel. Average launch angle is 10, so you would like to see him maybe get that up a few degrees. The air pull is not good, 9.6. So right now, his biggest issue is that he's more of a doubles hitter and not a home run guy. But if he's going to walk, get on base, hit a bunch of doubles, steal some bags, and get 15 to 20 homers, this is going to be a solid player. I think it'd be 2020 from the get. Carson Bench with the Mets. Let's get to number one. Number one, obviously, this is like a guy everybody's talking about. It's Nolan McLean. I've been trying to get McLean in a lot of leagues and haven't been successful yet because everybody else is on the same page. Tong's F scores are way better. You see this: 104 stuff, 106 control, 111 ERA, 108. So in the major or in the minors, Jonah Tong was much better than Nolan McLean. But in the majors, McLean has been significantly better than Tong. And a lot of that is just because McLean has a better pitch mix. It's a pitch mix thing. So Nolan McLean, let me pull him up. In the majors, his major league F scores is a 112 total F score. So his major league is 112 versus a 108 minors. His stuff is 108 versus 104 in the minors. His control is 104 versus 106 in the minors. And his FERA is 123 versus 111 in the minors. So his major league F scores are better because he's got a better pitch mix that translates better as a starter to the majors than the minors. So 336 J8 ERA for McLean through 2 years in the minors. And in 2025, it was as I pull it up, boom, 327 J8 ERA. And here's his pitch mix. Let's get into some pitch mix stuff. But first, I'm going to give you my rankings. So my 3-year dynasty rankings, I've got Nolan McLean at number 12 overall. And in redraft, where do I have McLean in redraft? I've got him at number 19 overall in redraft. I have him sandwiched right between Hunter Brown and Shohei Ohtani for pitchers. So top 20 starting pitcher for me this year, Nolan McLean. And a lot of that is just he's continuing to develop as a starter. And like I said, he's got a big repertoire. You see here 6 pitches that he's thrown in 2025. Sweeper, fastball, sinker, cutter, curve, change. Fastball, he's throwing 95, but it doesn't have the best movement on it. 10.4 swinging strike rate, so it's kind of like a 45 or 50 pitch maybe, the fastball. The sweeper, 13.1 swinging strike rate. And this is one of the things that, like, I was really not that high on McLean in the minors because I would look at this stuff and I'm like, he's kind of just average across the board. But then when you see him in the majors, you have to understand, like, this guy knows his arsenal and he's still only been a pitcher alone for a little over a year, but he's such a smart pitcher that he just knows how to mix his stuff so well. Because individually, these pitches are not great. It's nowhere near Tong. You'd be like, why? Like, Tong should be ranked way higher than McLean if you're just looking at the F scores in the minor leagues. But it's just because you see these swing strikes. The only thing that really pops is the curve. But everybody knows he's got the big sweeper, cutter, whatever you want to call it. It's got really late break to it, which makes it a really strong pitch. But McLean, let's look at his second half in the minors here before he came up and see how he improved. You can see, like, his sinker, fastball the fastball actually got better, swing miss stuff wise. So did the cutter, but the sinker, I don't know. And I think maybe John's saying here too is combining the cutter and the sweeper some because Like you got velocity difference, but you see here it's called the cutter, but this is his gyro slider or whatever with the late break. But yeah, I think McLean, just because he's a smart pitcher, it just makes it Arsenal, which like when you individualize the pitches, it doesn't look great. But when you take 6 pitches that are like average to above average to plus to 60, they're like 50 to 60 pitches, all of them more or less. And he just makes it work. He mixes the pitches appropriately and is a smart guy, and he's going to get even better at doing that. So while Tong may have higher upside, like Tong could be like a top 5 starter. I don't really see McLean being that. I think McLean's like going to be a really solid top 20 starter for a long time, sans injury. So that's the Mets system. That's the podcast, doing it solo, 45 minutes. There we go. Follow me on X at Fantasy Aceball. This was the New York Mets. Make sure you subscribe to the MLB Data Warehouse where you can see all this new stuff, the age-adjusted WRC Plus for the hitters and all this awesome stuff. So check that out, and thanks for listening, watching. However, peace out, everybody. We'll see you next time.